Hello, and welcome to the CDO Magazine interview series. I'm Ben Blankera with Rackspace Technology, the world's leading multi-cloud services provider. Today, I have the pleasure of talking with Nali Mayotu, Chief Data and Analytics Officer at FNB South Africa. Good morning, Nali. How are you?
Good morning, Ben. I am awesome, and I hope the same for you too.
Absolutely, absolutely. I didn't get the yellow shirt memo, however, so forgive me.
No worries, Ben.
So let's start with getting to know you a little bit better. Can you share a little bit about yourself, your company, your role, and a little bit about your journey?
Okay, cool. Thanks, Ben. As you mentioned, I am a Chief Data and Analytics Officer within FNB South Africa, and actually in particular within the Merchant Services Business Unit. So FNB South Africa is one of the big four banks in South Africa. I think in total we have six, but the big four, it's one of those. And it employs roughly 32,000 people. It forms part of the bigger First Rand Group, which is the parent company that has six subsidiaries under it. And then with regards to my particular role, I'm a Chief Analytics Officer within Merchant Services. So the bank is primarily split between retail and commercial. So commercial would then be like your business banking in a simplified way to put it, and retail is personal banking. So I'm within the commercial space. And then within my team, the structure is split into four streams. So there's business intelligence, there is data management, there is data science and analytics, and then there's also pricing. In general, yeah, that's just the role. And I've been with FNB now for 4 years. I've been enjoying this journey thoroughly. First, they hired me as an executive head of business intelligence. And then I subsequently was promoted to then look after the data science, a functional area within that business unit, and then the planning and monitoring functional area within that business unit, before then being promoted to a chief data analytics officer.
That's fantastic. First of all, congratulations on your ascendance into the chief data and analytics officer for probably one of the oldest companies I know of. that is 184 years is quite impressive. Today we're going to talk a little bit about a topic that you are passionate about, data literacy, right? So I was doing a little bit of research. I said, okay, what's a definition? So Gartner defines data literacy as the ability to read, write, and communicate data in context, including an understanding of data sources and constructs, analytical methods and techniques applied, and ability to describe a use case, application, resulting value. That is a really long sentence. What's your definition of data literacy?
So honestly, my definition is very similar to that of Gartner. So for me, it literally is that sweet spot of where working with data, so that's like the collection and management of data, meets reading the data. So not just the theory, but the actual analysis of the data, and then communicating with data. So reporting, presenting, the model creation. So when those three actually meet, that center point for me is data literacy. And honestly, you kind of need it to be able to actually do all three.
Let's pull on that. So tell me a little bit, why does this matter again? When you said you kind of need it all, why does it matter?
Oh gosh, I think I could actually spend a whole day on this particular question. But for me, data literacy has become important, right? For almost everybody. And companies need more people with that ability to interpret data, to draw insights from it, and to actually ask the right questions in the first place. And these are skills that honestly anyone can develop, as much as most people think about data and they just think it's just the technical guys in data and analytics. But now there's actually so many ways for individuals to upskill themselves and for companies to support them, thereby lifting the capabilities in order to drive change. So for me, honestly, to be data-driven requires decision making. And for that to actually happen, and for you to actually improve the performance of your company, you need to be able to understand what the data is saying to you. So that's why for me, it's actually important. If you're going to be in a position to actually make decisions, you need to be able to actually understand what that data is saying. And that's why it's actually important. So it's honestly not just for the senior level executives that are making decisions. This literally trickles down to senior management, to middle management, and even junior and entry management. People are making decisions every single day with the data points that they gather. And in order for that to be possible, they need to be able to understand what the data is saying and be able to communicate and tell a story with the data.
Sounds like a basic language skill. Like it's like this is like a basic hygiene that if you're talking about in enterprise that is digital, that you're making humans are making decisions. This is sort of a basic skill. My gosh.
It is. It is. I actually think it should be a second subject or third subject from a language perspective, even in high school. Be data literate because you use it everywhere.
Maybe in 10 years we'll see that in the curriculum now. Like maybe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love hearing stories about journeys. Can you share a little bit about the data literacy journey at FNB South Africa?
Okay. So I think I'm going to speak mostly about the last 4 years that I've been within FNB, and in particular within my business unit, which then rolls up into the bigger bank. I think like a lot of legacy companies or organizations, a lot of them have been operating in silos for a very long time, where people like to own the data and they don't like sharing it. So for us to be able to be more centralized and be creating these centers of competency and actually democratize our data, I think we have to come to a point of actually making sure that in order to share the data and for people to be able to make the decisions that they need to using that data, they needed to also be data literate, right? Because there's no point in having all these data analytics teams that are actually creating all these information assets and creating all these data products if the end users are not able to actually consume them. So we then went on this journey of data literacy. I stand to be corrected, but I think it's been over 2 years now, maybe 2.5 of us going on this journey. And we're not 100% there, but we've made huge strides where I think firstly, it was actually just understanding how data is being used in the business and then actually defining the preferred data usage, right? And then also more importantly is getting that leadership buy-in across the business. And then from there was to create a training plan. And this we didn't do by ourselves. We actually did with a team within the human capital area that's called L&D, which literally stands for learning and development, and high level, creating that training plan and then putting those skills into practice. That's a summarized version of that journey. But if you want, Ben, I can break it down even further for you, right?
Oh, yeah, we'll get there. Hold that thought. I'm gonna get there because I got a question later on, but hold that thought. So we had a 2-year journey that said, look, we're spending a lot of time centralizing, democratizing, doing all the technical things. But if we don't get folks that just don't give them a user's manual about what they're getting, it doesn't mean anything. And so you over the last 2 years, you've been down this road, and what I love hearing you say is you started out with how is it used? What is the business decisions that need to be made?
Yeah.
The preferred sort of format around that, and which is start from a user sort of perspective, business outcome, user driven, and then leadership sort of buy-in, and then got a training plan, and it takes a couple of years to make that happen. Did I get that right?
You got that right.
All right. I was furiously taking notes now, because I want to make sure I understand this. Nolly, thank you so much for joining me today. Folks, please visit cdomagazine.tech for additional interviews. Thank you all.
Thank you.